Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're going to demystify personal finance and show you exactly how to manage your money without all that underlying stress. Look, we all want to feel completely in control of our financial future, right? But if you've ever tried to build a budget from scratch, you've probably found yourself staring at some complicated, color-coded spreadsheet, just wondering why it has to be so incredibly difficult. Well, today, we're going to fix that. We're breaking down one of the most famous financial frameworks out there. We'll clean up the common misconceptions that always seem to trip people up, and I'll show you how to actually make it work for your real, everyday life.
So, here is our roadmap for today. First, the 50-30-20 rule explained. Second, where most people go wrong. Third, does it work in 2026? Fourth, the 60-20-20 alternative. And finally, putting your budget on autopilot.
All right, part 1, the 50-30-20 rule explained.
We're starting our journey with the baseline framework that kind of revolutionized personal finance. Originally popularized by Elizabeth Warren and her daughter Amelia Warren Tyagi, it was essentially designed to give people a benchmark that absolutely did not require tracking every single penny. It elegantly slices your after-tax income into a simple, easy-to-digest pie. 50% goes to your essential needs, so the absolute non-negotiable things you literally cannot live without, like rent, basic groceries, and minimum debt payments. 30% is carved out for your wants, the discretionary spending that actually makes life fun, like dining out or entertainment. And that final 20%, that is entirely dedicated to your future. Think building emergency savings, investing, and aggressively paying down debt. The sheer brilliance of this framework really is its high-level simplicity. There's no category overload. You aren't creating a separate line item for your dog's toys or your dry cleaning. It's just 3 big numbers guiding your overall financial health.
And it's worth noting that professional wealth advisors actually use these exact same 3 distinct buckets to allocate net income. Wealth advisors strongly advocate that money is ultimately just a tool to fund the life you most want to live, right? By strictly organizing your income into these 3 distinct vessels, 50, 30, and 20, you're creating a highly effective boundary system. Because let's be real, when your money is all mixed together in one giant checking account, it is so easy to accidentally overspend. But by compartmentalizing, you actively prevent your everyday lifestyle wants from secretly spilling over and draining the bucket that's meant for your long-term security. Moving on to part 2, where most people go wrong.
Despite its simplicity, so many people stumble right out of the gate. Because the truth is, this rule is widely misunderstood in practice. People either apply it way too rigidly or they totally mess up the underlying math. The most crucial point here is a stark reality check. Say you calculate your budget based on a $5,000 gross income instead of your actual $3,800 net take-home pay. Well, your math is broken before you even start. This is mistake number 1, and it's incredibly common. You absolutely must base these percentages strictly on your net income, the actual cash that hits your bank account after taxes, insurance, and retirement contributions are taken out. If you build your lifestyle around your gross salary, you are allocating phantom money you don't actually have. Mistake number 2 is misclassifying expenses. Come on, we all play a little mental gymnastics here. You need housing, yes, for sure. But that luxury apartment downtown with the rooftop pool and the premium fitness center? Yeah, that's a want. You need groceries to survive? Absolutely. But your daily artisanal coffee and premium organic oat milk? Those are wants too. That basic gym membership or the extra Netflix subscription? Still wants. It stings a little to admit it, I know. But gaining crystal clear, unflinching honesty about the difference between baseline survival needs and disguised lifestyle upgrades is absolutely essential for this whole thing to work. And then there's mistake number 3, which deals with irregular income. If you're a freelancer, a gig worker, or heavily reliant on sales commissions, applying a fixed month-to-month budget is going to drive you completely crazy. One month you're flush with cash, the next you're scraping by. To use this framework successfully, you really need to calculate your average net income across a wider 3 to 6 month window. By basing your 50-30-20 percentages on that stabilized, conservative average, you build a much-needed buffer that protects you during those inevitable lean months.
Which brings us to part 3. Does it work in 2026?
This is a super valid question given our modern economic climate. Is this somewhat rigid rule actually sustainable today? Well, when basic housing alone can eat up 35 to 45% of your take-home pay in major cities, strict adherence to a 50% needs cap usually just sets you up for immediate failure. By the time you factor in skyrocketing childcare costs, standard utilities, and inflated healthcare premiums, Millions of households find their absolute essential expenses climbing way past that 50% threshold before they've even bought a single loaf of bread. So does this mean the golden rule is suddenly useless? No, absolutely not. It just means the 50-30-20 model needs to be treated as a directional guide, a benchmark, rather than some strict, unforgiving financial law.
That realization perfectly leads us into part 4, the 60-20-20 alternative.
Personal finance is, above all else, deeply personal. You literally have to adapt the math to fit the realities of your actual life. Depending on your situation, your percentages should shift dynamically. If you have a lower income or live in a highly expensive city, a 60-30-10 split might be absolutely necessary just to survive and cover those essential costs without going into debt. Conversely, if you're a high earner, you should really consider flipping the script to 50-20-30 to aggressively accelerate your wealth building. And if you're carrying heavy debt, shifting to a 40-30-30 model makes a ton of sense, treating that extra debt payoff as a forced, non-negotiable form of savings. The exact percentages are flexible. It's the underlying principle of intentional, directed spending that isn't.
For instance, check out the popular barefoot investor method. It allocates 60% for living costs to reflect modern economic realities, while dedicating 20% to a Mojo emergency account, leaving a totally guilt-free 20% for splurges. This specific variation is great because it brilliantly acknowledges that 60% is often a much more realistic target for keeping the lights on today. And once you automatically hit that 20% for savings and debt, locking in your financial safety net, you can spend that final 20% on literally whatever brings you joy. No guilt required.
Finally, part 5, putting your budget on autopilot.
Let's look at the ultimate behavioral hack. Because you can understand all the budgeting theory in the world, but it won't help you build wealth if you genuinely hate tracking your daily expenses. Budgeting shouldn't rely on sheer willpower. It should rely on environmental design and smart banking systems. Behavioral economics clearly tells us that willpower is a finite resource. If we have to make a conscious, disciplined decision every single time we spend or save money, we're going to get decision fatigue. And when you're tired after a long day, spending will always win over saving. So, the absolute secret to making the 50-30-20 or 60-20-20 rule stick is to make it automatic. You need an invisible system that guides your choices without hijacking your mental energy.
Here's how you do it in 3 simple steps. By routing your money automatically into separate bank accounts, you completely remove the temptation to overspend your rent money. Step 1, your paycheck hits your main checking account. Step 2, you set up an automatic bank transfer for the very next day that pushes your savings percentage into an entirely separate account. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Step 3, you automatically transfer your wants percentage into a totally different account that has its own specific digital or physical debit card. So when you want to order from Amazon, grab that artisanal coffee, or go out to dinner, you only use that specific card. And when the money on that card is gone, well, your wants for the month are gone. It is a wildly powerful way to enforce your budget without color-coding a single spreadsheet.
John C. Maxwell has this amazing quote: "A budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went." I just love that because it perfectly frames budgeting, not as a restriction, but as a powerful tool for intentional direction. A budget is simply a benchmark for progress, not a mechanism for punishment. Whether you hit a perfect 20% savings rate this month or you're starting at just 5% and slowly working your way up, you are telling your money exactly what to do. You are taking back the driver's seat. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought. Are your spending habits truly funding the life you most want to live? The 50-30-20 rule is not just about the math, it's a mindset. Take a hard, honest look at that 30% wants category. Is it actually bringing you joy, or is it just mindless spending? Start exactly where you are today. Adjust the percentages to fit your unique reality, set up those automated bank transfers, and just watch how quickly you take full control of your financial destiny. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.